only. So let me just quickly ask you, how many of you attend these talks regularly? By show of hands? Few. So there are a few people who have come first time. Okay, good. Okay, so let me start by telling you about what law of attraction and how I got into it. This is an introduction, so I'm not going to take too much of your time and go very in depth into it. And I'm sure there will be people with already a little bit of knowledge about the law of attraction. Okay, so quickly, I'd like to find out first how much you've heard about the law of attraction. So can you raise your hands who've heard a little bit about it but don't know much about it? Little bit, but not much. How many of you have heard a little bit more about it, have studied it, maybe read a book about it? Have? Which book? Any? The Secret. Who else has read The Secret? Secret. Liked it? Sorry, can you? Acha. Rhonda Byrne's Secret. Anything beyond that? Beyond The Secret? And was it interesting? It was something which intrigued you? Right? Okay, so let me tell you a little bit more about myself and how I got into the law of attraction. I have been studying self-help, self-personality development, trying to improve myself for the last 10 years. So I have gone through a lot of books, I have studied a lot of different topics and different techniques, and I have attended seminars like this all over the place. And for the last 10 years I have been doing that. Now, 4 years ago, this is a little bit of a personal background on how I got into it and how it helped me. 4 years ago, I was in a very dark place in terms of my personal life, my business, my money situation. We were in debt and there was a lot of issues there. And literally I could not see my way out. All those books and all those techniques and all those positive thinking and all that just fell flat. So I didn't know what to do at that time. At that time, luckily, my dad, who stays in Canada, he had come visiting. And he's the one who first was into law of attraction over there at that time. So he sat me down, and for 2 hours that evening we discussed. He tried to explain the law of attraction. Remember, that time I didn't know much about it. He sat with me for 2 hours and he tried to explain what it is, how it would solve my problem. And at that time, there are situations in your life when you're in so much trouble that you don't really hear what people are saying, even when you're getting good advice. So it was that kind of situation, but my dad persisted and something sunk in. Yes, there is something called the law of attraction, and there's something, maybe I have got glimpses of it in my life and maybe it will help me also. So what I did is, after my dad went to bed, I usually stay up late at night. So I started going on the net and researching. That was 4 years ago. And I started watching YouTube videos. I had read The Secret, but after reading it, it had gone. So it was not really something which has stuck with me, although that was about the law of attraction. And I started researching, and I was, without knowing it, I was sitting up till 4 in the night reading about the law of attraction. And I was reading one article after the other, I was watching one video after the other, and all those concepts and all started hitting me so hard. After 4 o'clock, my wife came down and said, "Baba, you come to sleep now, enough is enough." But from that day I was hooked. And I really found that it was a very powerful learning in my life, which has helped me a lot. Now, since those 4 years, my life has transformed tremendously. In terms of material gain, yes, quite a lot. In fact, we are doing pretty well right now. But more importantly, it was for me personally, in terms of peace of mind, in terms of fulfillment, how I am being every time in the present moment. Yes, it started off like thinking, how can I get more money? How can I improve my bank balance? How can I do a lot of other things? But slowly, as I learned more about the law of attraction and all the teachings around it, I started to realize it is not more about manifesting things in your life. It's also about how you are in your life. In this lifetime which we are given, how you are in every moment, how it affects you. And the manifestations, the things which I got into my life, the money, the car, the whatever, started to become more like bonuses. The real pleasure, the real reward was the joyful life which I had started to lead. And that was 4 years ago, and I read almost all the material I could get my hands on. And to be realistic, law of attraction, as in The Secret, has added a lot of masala to it, but the law of attraction at its base is very, very simple. The fundamentals are very simple. It is not a technology, it is not technique, it is not a tool which you can suddenly use, it is understanding. And the understanding fundamentally changes how you view life, how you approach life. Now, of course, there are a lot of other teachings, a lot of other things, and as I talk, you might even recognize parts from it, because every good teaching or every good knowledge base usually shares certain basic principles which are common, right? So today I'll quickly take you through what I would call a journey, and it's a kind of chain of thought. So try to stay with me as I take it from one step to the other, because each one is related and there's a chain of thought which you follow to the conclusion. In between I will pause and take a bit of questions, but in between if you have any questions, just keep it in mind, and when I ask, please raise your hand and ask me. So I shall begin. Okay, everybody can understand me clearly? Am I going fast, slow, anything? Okay, good, thank you. As you know, I don't have a PowerPoint presentation. PowerPoint presentations put everybody to sleep. If I see one more PowerPoint presentation, I'm going to yell, So it's rather I am the PowerPoint presentation. I've got power and I've got my point and I'm the presentation. But I'll keep referring to my notes just to make sure that I don't ramble off track, right? Okay, so let's begin by a simple question, a very weird question, and I'm going to put it on the board. Pardon my handwriting, my wife is the artistic one. What are you wanting? So this is a basic question. What are you wanting? I'm sure you are asking, you're wanting to know what I'm asking mean by what are you wanting. But my point is, right now, you've come here for some purpose, right? You've come here with something in mind, right? What are you wanting? So I would like to get a little bit of feedback on what you're wanting. Can somebody raise their hands and share? Quickly, just shout it out.
Just to know the practical ways.
Very good.
The law of attraction.
Let's broaden it. Life. What are you wanting in life? Come on, let's broaden it. Peace of mind. Very good. Money, of course. Health. Good health. Good health.
To be successful.
To be successful. Okay. Property. Okay, very good. Very dangerous in today, but property. Please, from the back. Come on. Wanting. What are you wanting? Come on. Something. You must be wanting something. To become a multi. Very good. Yeah, from here. Wanting. Yes, sir. I don't want to put you on the spot. If it's okay if you want. Right. So we are wanting a lot of stuff. Anybody not wanting something here?
Everybody wants something or other.
Sorry?
Everybody wants something or other.
Everybody wants something or the other, right? Now, what is common among what this wanting which we've been sharing? What is this wanting that is?
Everybody wants
Material stuff? Yes. Something else I'm looking at. No. What I'm at, okay. Sorry, happiness, yes, okay. What I'm trying to ask you is, are these big wants? Are they huge wants? Like property, straight lottery ticket, right? Money, wealth, good health. These are huge wants, right? And you're wanting. The wants I am talking about is wanting in every second of every day. I'm talking of the want. Now if I went and closed his mouth and nose, what is he wanting? Air. So just sitting in those chairs looks comfortable, but if somebody is not comfortable in the chairs, what do they want? Want a more comfortable chair, right? Somebody must be wanting. So wants are throughout your life, in every day, and the wants we usually focus on are the wants which are big. You know, when we travel somewhere and we've got a lot of free time to sit, we are thinking about how to get the car, but every time there are a lot of unconscious wants that are emanating from you. Unconscious wants. All the time. You know, even when you shift from one leg to the other, when you're standing for a long time, you're wanting to sit somewhere comfortably. So the point of this, asking this, is you are all wanting beings. Right? You're all wanting beings. And how does the want come out of you? Wants come out of you pulsing every moment of every day, whether you are aware of it or not. So I'm walking down the road and I'm wanting. I look at something I like, I want. So I look at something I don't want. By the way, the flip side of wanting is I don't want. Right? So throughout the day you're going, I want. You might not be saying that, but mentally it's going, I want, I don't want, I don't like, I want, I don't like, I like. And continuously you're giving out a signal. Agree? Right? You start noticing that you are wanting beings. Right? So this is the point of this little diatribe, was to understand, to realize that there is a lot going on in your everyday second to second existence. You are continuously wanting things from small thing like a more comfortable seat to big things like property, car and all this. So it is okay to acknowledge that you are wanting beings, and the want is emanating from you every second of the day. Like your mobile phones are pulsing a signal, and whenever somebody gives you a call, it pulls that signal, and such a way you are pulling out a signal. Now just take it on faith for a little while from me. Just try it on for a little while, and if you see logically, you will understand that wanting is happening. Right? So just hold the wanting part right now. So this is my first step in the train of thought which I'm going to take you on, and to understand where law of attraction ends up. Wanting. Right? Okay. Now comes the flip side of wanting. The question is, of all the things you are wanting in your life today, how much are you actually getting? So quickly show of hands, give me a percentage number. You don't have to be correct. Say if 100% of your wants, quickly shout out a number. How much do you think you are getting in your life? Percentage.
10%.
Real honest man.
30%.
70, successful person. 30%. So, except for his case, I like that. Most of us have a gap, right, in the wanting and in the getting of it. In the ideal universe, in the ideal world, the moment we want, we should get, right? It should be like that, right? The moment we want, we should get immediately. Sorry. So, question is, why are you not getting? Why are we not getting? I'm not different from you. I am also wanting all the time. Why are we not getting? And the answer is in a little word called resistance. Resistance, you must have attended lots of seminars, those of you who like to attend such events, on resistance. Resistance is known by many different names: doubts, fears, anger, jealousy, hatred, lack of confidence. Resistance is always has a negative connotation to it, right? Resistance is always something which is kind of like a blocking force. So it is resistance in how many of you have done a little bit of electrical engineering learning or electrical? So resistance. So what in a wire, resistance is what when you push electricity, and I'm talking a very layman's term, when you put electricity through a cable from one end, what comes out at the other end is determined by resistance. So if you put 100% from this end, you're wanting, and what comes out 60%, 30%, 40%, somewhere it is getting eaten up, right? Resistance eats you up. The energy from this end doesn't come out at the other end 100%. Resistance. So when you think of resistance and when you think of wanting, think of ourselves as an energy flowing beings. We are flowing energy all the time. And you must have come across this on many forums and many teachings. We are energy flowing beings. And when the energy gets blocked, we have resistance. And that resistance, when it stops flowing, the output is not 100%. When resistance is 0, output is 100%, you should be getting everything you want. But everybody, and it's very natural to have resistance because you are living in a world which is full of things which generate resistance naturally. What we like to use the word called contrast. So with me so far, wanting, you have resistance, you don't get the output in your life you require, you get maybe 30%, 40%, 60%. Why? Because you are experiencing what we call contrast. What is contrast in terms of something which is in extreme opposition? It feels out of place compared to something else. Contrast in our life is whatever we are seeing in our world. Most common contrast, beggars on the road. How many of you don't like that contrast? Show of hands. How many of you don't like the contrast of beggars on the road? Or different contrast, you see somebody fighting, or somebody's pushed you and has been rude to you. Sorry? Somebody's spoken badly to you. Spitting, very good, common contrast. How many of you, show of hands, spitting, bad contrast, right? Smoking, another contrast. Now, look, contrasts are coming from everywhere, right? Smoking, spitting, you don't like beggars, you don't like this. How about contrast within your family? Come on. Mother-in-laws, father-in-laws, brother-in-laws, in-laws, people in the family. Contrast is there, right? We'll come to that. Yeah, it's contrast. It's contrast. I'm talking of contrast which you're experiencing very close to your heart. Right? Spitting, it's such a big contrast for most people. Right? But the thing which I want you to become aware of is contrast creates resistance. Contrast, or rather put it in a more better way, noticing the contrast creates resistance.
Going for blue also is a very worst problem. Blue and
On the road.
So if we are going to discuss contrast, we'll be sitting here till 8 o'clock. So I'll move on from contrast but I want you to note that your wanting has resistance which is generated by contrast. So with me, following the chain of thought, clear, right? Contrast, getting it? Okay. Let me finish. Maybe there'll be an answer along the way. This is not about me answering and solving your problems. I just want to show you a way of thinking which I feel is very powerful, and then you come up with your own solutions, right? Because I am much younger than most of you here, right? All I can do is maybe show the way a little bit on what worked for me, and maybe, see, I'm not a teacher here. I'm a sharer. I'm sharing what worked for me. And I love to talk. You can ask my wife. So I'm sharing and I'm talking, and hopefully something will click for you, and when you go back you'll find something useful for yourself, right? Okay, so wanting gives resistance, contrast, and I would like to add a fourth word here. Expansion. Okay, what is expansion? Can somebody give me a general definition of expansion? Expansion?
expanding business.
What is meaning of expansion? Not what is applied. What is the meaning of what would you, when I say expansion, what is the word that?
Same quantity occupying more space.
Okay. One word maybe? Growth. Growth. Yes. What else what comes to mind? I say expansion. What comes to your mind?
Some addition.
Addition. Right? Addition.
Crossing the border.
When I say expansion like this.
Crossing the border.
Evolving. Good. Very nice.
Broadening your views.
Broadening your views.
Increasing the ratio.
Increasing the ratio. Okay. Very good. Zoom. Nice word. Zoom. I would use the word zoom out rather than zoom in. Jumbo size. So now let me make a statement. This universe is an expanding universe. The order of the day is expansion. Right? The order of the day is expansion. What is expansion? Scientists today are studying the Big Bang. Since the Big Bang, the galaxies, the whole universe exploded, the galaxies are far flung, and today also they are expanding, and galaxies are moving outwards. Scientists are trying to find out how fast the galaxies are moving away from each other. Can you believe that? Expansion. It's growing. Everything is expanding. Everything is growing. Nothing is remaining the same. And in our lives, continuously, whether we want it or not, whether we like it or not, we are also experiencing expansion. We are also experiencing expansion. How are we experiencing expansion? Expansion is, do you feel that this world which we are living in is going backwards? You might agree with some places, especially politics, but we are expanding, right? Things are expanding. Every day new books are written. Recently the Olympics, new records are being broken. Things which you have never seen in your life are happening. Things which you have never read are happening. You are experiencing new things every day. Seeing new cars, amazing cars you are driving. Everything around you is expanding constantly. And those people who are really on the edge of expanding are really pushing the barriers. In the US or UK, they are now talking about taking passengers into space. Expansion. Of course, they are billionaires. They can have the money to expand beyond anything human beings have ever done. Holidays on Mars. The expansion is happening in this entire world, around you. And every time this expansion is happening, you are in the middle of this expansion. And you have this opportunity. You have this opportunity to expand with it. Okay? Just bear with me a little bit. You have this opportunity to expand with this expansion that is happening, but we do not. We do not expand every day. I am not talking about that you are not reading a new book every day. I am not talking of that kind of expansion. I am talking of the expansion when you are getting these wantings. How many of these wantings, due to your resistance, are coming out and merging into the expansion of this world? Mukesh Ambani's wealth is expanding. Is your wealth expanding? Right? Today the Ferraris and what is the famous race cars? Lamborghinis and all that. Are your cars expanding? Right? There is expansion happening. Now I am not here to punish and beat you guys. You guys are not expanding. What I am trying to make you aware is there is a natural flow to life. There is a natural flow to life. Against which we keep pushing. This is a world where there is constant wanting and constant expansion, but we are like that stubborn child. I will not go. I will not expand. You know why? I will not expand because I have this. Making sense? Right? So we have a world of expansion, and everything in this world is available to us. You are a result-oriented person. You want to know how can I expand now, right? How can I get rid of this resistance, and I want to expand now. I want that new car, I want that new job, I want money, I want peace of mind. Expansion is all around you. Okay. So, with me so far, wanting, contrast, resistance, expansion. Now only on these 4 topics, any questions? Just these 4 topics. or what I've just spoken a little bit. Yes?
There is outside expansion. Is there an inside expansion also?
I would invite you to consider there is no inside outside. There is just expansion. We usually keep a very strong boundary. This is inside, that's outside. What does that do? That creates a wall between you and the world outside. So rather than saying inside expansion, outside expansion, let's say generally expansion. Me part of that expansion, right? Are your fingers part of your body? But they are individual as well, right? Similarly, we are all part of this expanding world, but we are individual as well. It's a duality, but the idea is to get into the mode. Now when you leave this talk, when we finish, I want you to start noticing your wants and the expansions that are happening and your resistance that you are talking to yourself about the expansion, right? So I'm not going to go into a very big psychological bhashan about why you have this resistance. I'm just going to tell you how LOA comes into it and how cleanly LOA helps you move along. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, you just walked in?
A quick glance of somebody.
I'll give you a quick summary, you don't mind?
Yeah.
Okay. Quick summary of what? I started with a question. What are you wanting? So everybody is wanting something in every moment of the day. I'm not talking of your cars and your money and your real estate. I'm talking about what are you wanting in every day. When you're sitting on a hard bench, you're wanting a softer chair. When you've been standing waiting for the train very long on the station, your legs are aching, you want the train to come. If I hold your mouth, you want to breathe. Wanting is a natural process, right? Now, of that wanting in your life, of all the possible things you're wanting, how much are you getting? Obviously, breathing you're getting, right? Because nobody has resistance to breathing. Does anybody get up in the morning and say, shit, I should breathe today? No, there's no resistance. You're getting it, wanting. If somebody taught you that breathing is difficult, definitely there would be resistance. And you would go to the doctor with asthma. But, so wanting, clear? And what you get, what you don't get is a measure of your resistance. So for 100% of wanting, what comes out is dictated by your amount of resistance, right? And resistance is generated by something which you see every day in your life, which we call contrast. Contrast is lovely example: spitting, smoking, people swearing, fighting. Contrast in your family, horrible family members, bad bosses. Contrast in office life, contrast everywhere. That's contrast. So and then I came to expansion. So wanting is determined how much you're getting by resistance, but resistance is dictated by contrast. But we are in an expansive world, right? This is where I had reached. Clear? Thank you. Now I want to make one small point before I move on. If you don't go with the expansion, if you don't go with the expansion of your life, of your wants, it is painful. It is miserable. If you don't go with the wants, it is miserable. If you don't go with the expansion, most people today are living miserable lives because they don't want to go with the expansion. They are not going with the expansion. They are stubbornly remaining where they are. And like gravity, expansion has a pull in everybody's life. And the more you fight that pull, more miserable you're going to be. That is why I have brought expansion here. Expansion means that you have to expand across your boundaries. You have to change, you have to grow, whatever the word expansion brings to your mind. Okay, thank you. I'll move on now to the next topic. Clear on this part, right? You had a question? Coming to that. Sorry? The law of attraction. I use LOA. LOA, law of attraction. No. So, just a little feedback, because this is something which is evolving. I'm starting it. How do you find it so far? Interesting? Good? Thank you. Feel free to sleep if you feel bored. I don't care. I've slept in more lectures than I can count. Right? Now I come to the next topic called the vibrational universe. When I say vibration, what comes to mind? Can you quickly? You must have heard the word moving, vibration, pulsing, surface tension, up and down, some kind of motion. Yes, vibration, moving, movement. In physics, and I'm a physics student, not a very good one, but in physics, vibration has a certain frequency. So if I'm moving my hand like this has a certain frequency. I'm moving very fast, this has a different frequency. So now we are living in a vibrational universe. What does that mean? Is this is a universe that is continuously pulsing and moving. Now the biggest illusion we have in life is everything is static. Everything is. But if you take any solid object under a microscope and you look at it, you will see millions of particles moving at high speeds. And now with quantum physics, the scientists are going crazy trying to find out how the vibration is happening. Newtonian physics is out of the window. The boson particles, they're trying desperately to find out the vibrational this of the universe. So we are living in a vibrational. Air, very high vibration. Slow down air, you get water, liquid. I'm being very rough with the physics, but you get the idea. Liquid, slow down liquid, you get solid, right? All determined by vibration. Now why this elementary physics lecture? Because I want you to understand something. Nothing in this world which you are living is static. You are constantly in motion. If I took you and put you under a gigantic microscope, you would, or a atomic microscope, you would be in constant motion. And not only are you moving and vibrating at a certain frequency, you are interacting with the universe on that vibration. By the universe I use the world which you are living in, which you are touching, which you are interacting with. So you have to get used to the idea that nothing is static. We are so used to seeing the same thing every day in, day out, that we are used to finding something which is static. My house will always be there, it's static. You know, my office will always be there. This person will always be there. We are living in a vibrational. Can you this side, please? Thank you. This is the video. Good afternoon. Welcome. Anju, I must tell you something. There's a chair behind it.
There's a chair behind.
It blocks the camera, so. No. I've gone a little too much into the lecture to recap, so I'll just continue. Right? Okay, so where was I? Vibrational universe. So, now if you put all this together, wanting, contrast, resistance, expansion, vibration, what is the feel you are getting? Can somebody maybe share something which you are, what is the feel you are getting?
Constant change.
Very good. Constant change.
Continuous flow of energy.
Continuous flow of energy. Motion. Are you getting it?
And we are all connected.
We are all connected. Very important. We are all connected to everything. We are all connected through everything, and the greatest illusion, Maya, is of the self. And I'm not going into the all those classical scriptures. I'm just trying to tell you in common sense word. But the biggest point I want to make in this thing is we and the universe is always in vibrational motion, which means anything and everything can change. Everything and anything can change in a heartbeat. You experience that? One day you're walking down the road healthy and fine, next day gone. You know, suddenly you're partying and the next day you're going attending somebody's funeral. It's change, continuous change happening. Now people will talk to you about ages and ages about change and how change is good and all that. You don't have a choice. You are changing anyway. You're changing all the time. But many of us feel this stuck feeling because we are changing into the same. Has anybody seen a still photograph on a TV? A still photograph on a TV screen. The image is continuously being refreshed, but we are seeing the same image. Why are we seeing the same image? Because we don't assume that there's movement in it. It is the same image being shown over and over again, and that creates an illusion of what is. So the next word I would like to is what is. What isness is connected to resistance. What isness is the belief that things don't change. What isness is looking at your feet, staying in the same place and saying, this is what is there. This is what is. My boss is always bad. I will never make money. I am useless. What is reality. Reality. What isness. Right? So just a little bit of, because I'll be using the term what is a lot, so I just wanted to lay the groundwork for this, and I want you to now get into the emotional kind of stage where you feel, I want you to feel that there is possibility of change, dramatic change in your life, mind-blowing change in your life, provided you are able to manage the resistance. Okay, now I go to the main meat of the subject, law of attraction. Anybody has any questions about vibrational universe? Okay, so I'll move. So far good?
Yes.
Interesting?
Yes.
With me so far?
Yes.
Yes, sir? Back?
You are awake.
You are awake, thank God. Now the point of this whole lecture and why I did all that in the between. Law of attraction. That night when I sat till 4 in the night, were reading about law of attraction. What was I reading about? What is this law of attraction? Very simply put, law of attraction states that like vibrations, like means similar, vibrations are attracted to each other. If you take one vibration of a similar this and another vibration, they will be drawn to each other. Similar vibrations are drawn to each other. That is the law of attraction. Like onto itself is drawn. Like onto itself is drawn. Resonance would be a better word. So, law of attraction comes into life. All this background is preparing you for the law of attraction. Now, when you say you are a vibration being living in a vibrational universe, law of attraction means that it brings to you whatever you are vibrating at. Whatever you are vibrating at, you are drawn to it. It is drawn to you. We are sitting in this room because we are all at a certain vibrational level. It is not very intuitive. I can't go and measure his vibration. But there is something in his vibration which has brought him together with all of us. The reason we are sitting in this seminar is no accident. You are all vibrationally looking for some solution, some answers. I might be the solution, I might be the answer, I might not, but it's one more step in your journey. You read in the papers, 100 people suddenly died all in a bus accident. If you look at their personal history, there's nothing in common with them. Their children, there are rich people, poor people, different people. All died in the same accident. What was the common? What brought them together? What brought them into that time and space where they had that accident and left this world? What is that vibration which brings you to the platform and you just miss your train? Or what is that vibration that brings you to the platform and then the train comes? What is that vibrational frequency that you think of a friend and the friend appears? Or what is that vibrational frequency that you are most afraid of that thing and that thing appears? There is a saying, what you fear will appear. What you resist will persist. Right? Einstein is known for the theory of relativity. Very famous Einstein, but very few people know Einstein was a fantastic philosopher. What Einstein said, and the fundamental question he asked, which is at the heart of the law of attraction in your life. Ma'am, in your life, do you believe you live in a friendly universe or a non-friendly universe? What is the fund? Now ask yourself, what is your fundamental belief about this? Do you live in a friendly universe or do you live in a universe that is out to get you? And at some level, friendly, I'm glad.
Because there is all this evidence is pura friendly.
But to be very frank, at times you feel that something is going against you. Yeah, at times you feel okay, everything is fine.
Sometimes you feel everything is fine, but there are times when you feel, shit, this world is out to get me. आज सुबह से उठा तो ऊपर वाला मेरे पे मारने को ही लगा है. Everything possible that could go wrong has gone wrong. Do you still think that's a friendly universe that day? On that day?
Because it is your thought process that has taken you to.
Good. That's a good, sir. So I'll talk on that a little more. That is a little going one step further. But I want you to acknowledge that not every time you think, this is. Sometimes you really are miserable. साला कुछ भी नहीं बराबर हुआ.
You have created that.
You have created that. That's true. And that will come to that. But I want you to acknowledge that you are vibrating at a certain frequency. You are wanting. And when you say wanting, you are attracting wanted. And there's a flip side to that coin, which is unwanted. Wanted, unwanted. Now you must have understood the. I'll just give you a second. When I say the word law of attraction, why do we use the word attraction? We could have said the law of positive thinking and everything comes to you. Why the word attraction? Have you ever wondered that? Guys, people have read The Secret. Have they mentioned that? Attraction. To attract. Good one. I would use the word, this is an inclusion based universe. This is an inclusion based universe. What does that mean? Is I cannot push away anything. In this universe, you cannot push away anything. Pushing against also brings it to you. Whether you want it or you don't want it, it will still come to you. And this is a very fundamental point on LOA, which a lot of people do not get, reading The Secret and all these books. It's more like I yell no or I yell yes, it will still come to me. Stone, if I throw up, it can go somewhere else also. Just kidding. So LOA, law of attraction, I'll keep using the word LOA, so please understand that. Law of attraction is about living in an inclusion based universe. Why is that important? Because the more you give your attention to things wanted or unwanted, the more they will persist in your life. I would like to go back to contrasts. Can you please again shout out those contrasts quickly? You mentioned smoking, spitting. You had mentioned a contrast. Lying, beggars. Sorry? Saas Bahu serials. Politicians. Biggest contrast. Corruption. In the US, they have contrast called war on terror, war on drugs.
Reservation, everything is in boundary. Reservation.
So that's a contrast for you. Strong contrast for you because you brought it up. Now, the important thing to know about contrast is that the more you give your attention to that contrast, it will remain in your experience. and it will come into your experience. What you resist will persist. You cannot say no to something and expect it to go out of your life. You cannot. It's not possible. You see so many people, they are talking about poverty and hunger and a cricket team losing. Has anything gone away? Imagine 1 billion people focused on this contrast, how much energy and power that contrast has. Every one of us who have complained about a cricket team has brought that contrast into our lives. How do you think how many years the cricket team lost? You think that was an accident? They were just attracting the vibrations of 1 billion people. In your life also you have different contrasts which you are all the time vibrating to and bringing you. Some contrasts are very subtle. पैसा नहीं है, बैंक अकाउंट हमेशा खाली है. Some contrasts are very पैर टूट गया. Right? Many contrasts are such that they keep happening over and over in your life. Can anybody share contrast that keeps happening over and over? Anybody? Something which keeps happening to you, bad thing which keeps happening to you over and over.
Scams.
So sorry, can you?
Scam, political scams.
To you? Are you involved in a scam? I hope not. Traffic jam. Okay, mild contrast. Stronger contrast. Anybody?
I have a friend who has had a series of accidents.
Series of accidents.
Sickness in the family.
Sickness in the family, and somebody keeps getting ill and dying and ill and dying and ill and
The
dying.
other queue that you're standing in always moving faster.
The queue he is standing in, the other queue is always moving faster.
Missing train or bus also. Missing train.
Now I want to tell you this. You're noticing the contrast guarantees that the contrast will always remain in your lives. Why is it? Because of the powerful law of attraction. And whether you want it or not, believe in it or not, like it or not, the law of attraction, like gravity, is always at work in your lives.
How to overcome?
Good question. But I want you to understand this principle. It has to be strong. It has to be. I keep telling people when I meet with friends, don't give attention to this. It will increase. It will fester. It will grow. But people keep scratching at the same topic and the same issue. My brother-in-law doesn't listen to me. साला बैंक में पैसा ही नहीं आता. मैंने इतना इंटरव्यू दिया, जॉब मिलता ही नहीं है. And we keep scratching at the same contrast, and what do we get? More resistance, more what is? More resistance, more what is? Law of attraction is a neutral party. Whatever you give your attention to, it is going to give you. Neutral party. It doesn't care if you're a good human being or a bad human being, you're a murderer or you're a saint. Whatever your attention is, will come into your experience. You want to experience, you want to try it out in life after you go here. Take few topics, put all your attention on that, think about it. You will start noticing evidence of it coming in. It'll start coming in. Somebody who reminds you of it, you'll start open a newspaper and you'll see that topic. It triggers the reticular activation. Reticular activation is when your brain allows a certain object to keep coming into your focus. When I say red Maruti car, you'll start seeing red Maruti cars. But the red Maruti cars will also start congregating in South Bombay. Because you are a vibrational match to red Maruti cars. Okay? So let's do a small, before we move on to how to take it, let's do a small group exercise, nothing major. Let's note down 5 things in everyday life or not in everyday life which you would normally not see in your day-to-day life. So I would like 5 suggestions. Anybody, something, some object, something which you don't normally would see in your day-to-day life. Come on, can you suggest something, please? Peacock. Let's call it a peacock feather. Peacock. Let's say a peacock feather. Somebody else suggestion?
Rainbow.
Rainbow में भी बारिश के सीजन में दिखेगा यार. Something you can't expect.
White colored crow.
White colored crow. Let's test the boundaries, you know. Come on, I need 3 more things. Yes. Ferrari यार आजकल सर आप नरीमन पॉइंट जाओ आपको 4 दिखेगा.
Dinosaur.
Okay, ठीक है. Jurassic Park is now old news. So dinosaur. I'm sorry, the spelling is off.
Prime Minister of India.
You already given a suggestion. Just kidding.
Aliens.
Non-corrupted politician. Forget it. LOA also won't do anything about that. Forget it. Impossible mangta hai yaar. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Let's do it object.
Aliens.
Aliens. Okay.
Celebrity on railway platform.
Celebrity on railway platform. That's not a bad one. Good. Like it. Any celebrity, huh? Not a film star. Celebrity on a railway platform. Let's make it simple. Let's say celebrity. Not everybody will be traveling by train, you know. So let's say celebrity. I'm making it easier, you know. Okay, so just quickly memorize these. 5. I'll repeat it. Peacock feather.
Peacock feather.
White colored crow. A dinosaur. Aliens. Celebrity. I'll keep it on the board so when you go also you can take a look at it. If you forget it also no problem. It's just to kind of test the boundaries of whether this whole thing works. I do this and I get interesting results. Now be prepared to see it, but don't expect it in absolutely the way you're expecting it. So don't expect the white crow to come and sit on your shoulder. It might be on a sticker in a train. It might be on somebody's backpack walking behind, whom we are behind. It might be on some bus. Yeah? So, sorry? It could be on an advertisement. It could be, what I'm trying to say, it could be in any form. But the law of attraction will, if you are a vibrational match to this. Now, one more caveat. Don't agonize about it. White crow, white crow, white crow. Let it go. After you memorize it, forget about it. Forget about me, forget about it. But when you see it, notice it. Your attention is on this. It should come into your experience. How fast it will come into your experience usually depends on resistance. Why have I chosen all weird topics? Because you don't have any resistance on it. Maybe white crow you do have. Who said white crow? Yeah, you have a resistance to white crow because you don't expect it to see it.
Yeah, it's in the zoo.
I'm saying in daily life. Okay, so got it? So I'll move on.
Yeah.
How much time do I have? Half an hour more? Okay. So I'll quickly take any questions on what the law of attraction is on this particular topic only. Any doubts? Yeah.
For example, if I have to experience or have maybe a 2 BH,
2 bedroom, yes.
how do I get it in my life?
I'll go to that to the next topic. But understanding how the law of LOA works. Everybody clear on that? The back? Clear on LOA? The law of attraction? How it, what you give your attention to persists in your life. It brings in more. Okay. Now the topic was law of attraction, the power of deliberate creation. How do you create? How do you attract? Three steps to creation. 3 steps. You want to use the power of law of attraction which is in your life. You want to go with the expansion. 3 steps to law of creation. First step. Ask. Second step. Can everybody read that? Ask, it is attracted, it is created. Allow. So what do you think? This is interesting, intriguing? How do you find it so far? Good? Anybody going to sleep on this? It is intriguing, no? Power of deliberate creation. So 3 steps to creation. Ask. It is attracted. We like to say it is created, but then that's a little too higher level for this talk. So we'll say it is attracted for now. Allow it into your experience. Ask. How are we asking? We are wanting. We are wanting all the time. We are wanting all the time. That is asking. Wherever you are vibrationally putting your attention on any topic, you are asking for it. Whenever you are wanting something in your daily life, you are asking for it. You are asking all the time. This is the step where you have to do the least work. Because you are such good askers. When I started this, I asked real estate, car, bangla, this, blah, blah. We are all good at asking. Contrast makes you ask. You don't want people spitting, right? So you are asking for or not spitting. Both sides. You want, rather let's put it in a not negative. You are asking for people who follow the rules, behave themselves in public, keep everything clean, right? But also by your attention on people spitting, you are asking for spitters also. Keep that in mind. So you are asking, and that is very simple. You are asking all the time. You can ask for anything and everything in life. When you fantasize about something, you are asking. Fantasy also is a type of ask. Asking happens without you knowing also. Break your leg, you are in deep pain, you are asking for healing. You are asking for God to come and Bhagwan mera pair thik kar de. Asking is natural, asking is happening all the time. This is when it's not important whether any work to be done. Most people have asked enough to last 20 lifetimes. Most people have asked enough. अरे यार कितना तुमने सोचा है अभी से, बचपन से लेके कितना आस्क किया है, बोलो ना, और कितना मिला है? 30%, 70%, 70%. Brilliant. Ask. Clear on this? Second, it is attracted. Now this is a part you have to take on faith. A little bit of faith, and that's where that peacock exercise comes in. Because words don't teach, experience teaches. So once you leave this seminar, this lecture, see it in your life. But right now, as a favor to me, take it on faith. You ask, it is always answered. It is always answered. Your 2 BHK, Ferrari, whatever, it's always answered. Better relationships, good health, peace, it is always answered. Ask and it is always given. It is the law. It's the law of attraction. Very bold and big statement for me to make, I know, and I cannot prove it in this instant. What I'm asking you is to have faith and see it in your life. Ask and it is always given. Step 2 is automatic. You can't do anything in step 2. Your job is step 1 and 3. 1 is so natural. You're born asking, born wanting. Step 3 of the law of attraction creation process, deliberate, let's call it the deliberate creation process, is allowing. Allowing is what this entire seminar, this whatever I've been talking is about. Allowing in simple terms is the reduction of resistance. It's the lowering of your barriers so that what has happened in step 1 and 2 comes into your experience. And allowing is the most trickiest and difficult step to master. This is where each and every one of us, and I am not an exception, to fall down the roadside, wayside. We do not allow because we take a huge big stone and throw it on our foot. How do we do that? let me take you through a normal scenario. We are going through life, something unwanted happens, some contrastive view, somebody spits, small contrast, somebody गाली देता है आपको, right? What is the wanting that comes out immediately? Two things come out. First, you don't want this, and also side by side, you want, if somebody has been rude to you, you want a polite person, and it is given. So you experience some terrible contrast, some contrast which shakes you up, and immediately, automatically you do part 1 and 2. Now the third part is where practice is required. Is when something unwanted happens, you have to ask yourself one question. What is wanted? But what do most of us do? We go into the what isness. Sala ye aisa hai. It is like this only. We make up long stories about the what isness. We make up long stories about the contrast. What I am asking you is take your attention from the contrast and give it to what is wanted. Every subject in your life is two subjects. What is wanted and what is not wanted. Wants a 2 BHK, I do not have a 2 BHK. I want people to stop spitting, or rather I want people to behave themselves in public, and I want to stop spitting. Every topic is two topics to it. The topic which you give your attention to, the one which has the least resistance, is called allowing. Allowing is focusing purely and completely on what is wanted in your life. But what do people do? They beat the drum of what is not happening in their life. I don't have bank balance, I don't have money. You're beating the drum. I meet you in the road and you will pakao me for half an hour on what is not you, but generally, on what is going on wrong in your life. What is unwanted. What is this? Resistance. And you expect everything to flow into your life? Beat the drum of the same topics over and over again. Your friend, what do you discuss when you meet her? The one whose family is going ill.
Same thing.
What does she talk about?
Only that.
Does she talk about anything else? Does she ever talk about things that are going right in her life?
Absolutely.
Does she show appreciation for anything?
No, absolutely.
Now the question is, yes, lady might be, not the lady, the lady's friend might be extreme, but examine your own lives. What is the story which is going on every day in your lives to everybody? कितना मज़े से तुम लोग किस चीज़ पे attention दे रहे हो? I'm sorry, I'm young, so I'm addressing elders, but I'm going to take the liberty right now. What are you giving your attention to? क्या क्या चीज़ों पे आपका attention है? And are you surprised with the results in your life? Are you allowing anything? You are fantastic, all of you, and I say myself also, so I'm with all due respect. You are fantastic noticers of what is. We are historians. कितना इंडिया ने कितना मैच हारा, किसने 6 मारा, we are perfectly we know. Do you expect our Indian team to win? नहीं, रेखा भी जीतेगा नहीं साला. Our attention, let me say our attention is always on the what is. You are seeing the same still photo on the TV. How do you expect to see the movie? Am I making sense? Law of attraction will bring what is you are putting your attention to constantly in your life. And still we tell the same story we want to say. We beat the drum of unwanted in our lives. Health, money, relationships. I bet every one of you have dozens of stories on what is not wanted. Every one of us. And we are ready with the story. I ask you, tell me a story of something that went well. सोचना पड़ेगा, है ना? I have stopped reading the newspaper every day. Not because I am so scared that some story will bring something unwanted into my life. It's just I have to practice putting my attention on things that I want. And I would tell you I'm just 50% there. I'm not a guru, I'm not a master. I'm just like you. I'm 50% there. But that 50% has also made a significant importance, a difference in my life. I have learned that I will ask, and I will always ask for something positive and good. I know the universe will bring it to me. All I have to do is allow it into my life by not telling the same old Ghisa Pita story. Wonderful things can happen into your life